Welcome to the Circuit of Success Podcast.
The Circuit of Success Podcast.
With your host, Brett
Gilliland. Brett Gilliland, Visionary Wealth Advisory.
The Circuit of Success Podcast. Let's start the show.
Well, hey everybody, it is Casey Jacox with the Quarterback Dadcast. We're in season 6, and this guest is going to be someone I'm really going to have some fun talking to because the roles are reversed. Recently, I was on his podcast, and now that's like a home and a home golf match. So we're going to learn all about him. I told him that the script is a blank piece of paper. He got excited, which made me think this is my type of dude who can be curious and let it go. And his name, when he only comes to us from the fantastic Nick Hutchison, who's going to be a future guest on the podcast from Book Thinker. So thank you, Nick, for making today's connection happen.
Absolutely.
Episode happen. But his name is Brett Gilliland. He's the CEO and founder of Visionary Wealth Advisors. I've actually ended up doing some work in the wealth management space. And when I met Brett, it was apparent why he's been a successful founder-led and in that space because of how he just interacts, treats people, and you're going to hear it in his voice here in a second. He also is the host of the Circuit of Success podcast, where I had the luxury of being a guest. Great podcast. If you guys want to check it out, he's interviewed some really, really fantastic people. He might be Billy the Panther. I'm not sure if that's true, but we're going to find out. But more importantly, he's a dad. And we're going to learn about Brett on specifically how he was raised, how he's working hard to become that ultimate quarterback or leader of his home. So without further ado, Mr. Gilliland, welcome to the Quarterback Dadcast.
Hey, man, thanks for having me. It's awesome to get the roles reversed here. So looking forward to it.
Are you Billy the Panther?
I am not Billy the Panther, unfortunately.
That's the only research I do before episodes. I love researching mascots for people at college.
I'm not. Our claim to fame, though, for EIU, you being a football player, is Mike Shanahan coached Sean Payton at Eastern Illinois University, the Eastern Illinois University. Sean Payton broke all the records. Tony Romo comes around. He was there when I was there. We get to play a lot of basketball together. So Tony broke all of Sean Payton's records. And then Jimmy Garoppolo comes along, breaks all of Tony Romo's records. So I don't know, man. Jim Nantz was just talking about it about 2 Sundays ago. Pretty cool.
The elite quarterback fraternity.
That's right.
Out of the Eastern Illinois University. My mighty Central Washington Wildcats. I think I actually dropped the word elite. I think I screwed that up but we had some guys too, like John Kitna that played in the league, got a Mike Riley who played in the CFL for years. There's a bunch of quarterbacks that made it. I decided to choose the business path because I just didn't want to play pro ball. Heavy sarcasm. I wish I would have kept playing. Well, cool. Well, we always start out each episode with gratitude. Brett, so tell me, what are you most grateful for as a dad today?
Oh, I'm grateful just for my family, man. It's I got 4 boys. I got one that just went to college and in the fall. So he is back. He was on a 39-day break for Christmas and just went back. So he's 4 days into school and had some good conversations with him already. So thankful for that. Thankful for my junior, my freshman in high school, my 5th grader. We just got done coaching basketball for him. So grateful for that, man, and grateful for my wife, who is about 30 feet that way. We're working on another new business that we're building together, and it's been a lot of fun. So just grateful for my family, and then grateful for the upbringing I had with my mom and dad. They set a good tone for that and showed me what family was about, and able to do that with my family.
Love it, man. I'm already the curious alarms are going off, but I got to get to my gratitude. Then I'm going to ask you a question about your oldest. So what I'm most grateful for today, it's top of mind because someone asked me it earlier, and I really want to kind of like re-sit in it for me. Is I have a freshman in college too, and just the fact. I mean, I'm on Snapchat with him now. I think I've shared this with people before. We have like 160 something day snap streak where it's not like. And I thought I'd never be on Snapchat. And
right.
For people who've heard the story, apologize and tell it again. But like, it's just like I either can let my ego get in the way. I'm like, I'm not doing that. Or if it meets my son where he's at, and that's how he wants to message. And if it helps me create a better connection, then he's picking up the phone to call me more now. And I'm just grateful that like my relationship with him and my wife's the same way with him. It's not like, geez, my mom and dad are calling me. They're such tools. It's like, no, we're like, it's like almost a buddy and like hey, he's like asking us for advice, or hey, when you had freshman in college, what was this like? And like, like all the hard work that we went through from 0 to 18, I feel like it's like paying off, and it makes me want to like double down to just stay present, keep listening. How can we support you? You're gonna have to do the work, but like we're here to support you. And so I'm just grateful for like the phase of life I'm at and the relationships we're developing specifically with my son, which is the best.
That's cool. That's awesome.
So I don't know if I remember us talking about that when I was on your show, but like, so we went through the same stuff together.
Yeah.
I was a disaster.
The allergies were really, really acting up the day we dropped him off. The allergies, the guy cutting up all the onions in the corner.
Yeah.
Lots of onions were being cut. My wife kept it together. Dude, I was like fighting the ugly cry. Like I barely was able to say goodbye to him. It was bad.
I couldn't say goodbye to his girlfriend. I was like, yeah, she said so. I'm like, I couldn't say the name. I'm like, yeah, lost my voice.
Yeah. Yeah, we drove separate because, you take so much stuff. So my wife's in the car with two of our boys. I'm in my car with my 17-year-old, and he's crying. I'm crying. I said, I'm sorry. I can't talk. I said, my allergies are killing me. And he goes, yeah, and the guy cutting the onions back there. And so we got to laugh, and then it kind of helped a little bit. But, man, I've only become a crier in the last probably few years. I wasn't a crier, and now I get like sad at things that I don't normally get sad at.
Yeah, welcome aboard, dude. I got plenty of room on this bandwagon for you. I mean, Punky Brewster, tearing up. Golden Girls, tearing up.
Yeah,
and a good AT&T commercial, tearing up.
I know, it's terrible. But, hey, Greg, I like it. I like this Brett more.
I mean, it kind of leads what you talked about. We talked about together on your show about being vulnerable, and my kids sometimes make fun of me about it, but I could give two shits.
Yeah.
Because I'd rather them see a dad with raw emotion and who's not afraid to put his emotion on his sleeve, and versus bottling it all up, and all of a sudden now I'm explode one day, good or bad. So
he went back on Sunday, and it was the same thing, man. Having him home for 39 or 40 days was like, okay, now we're back, right? We're going to family dinners. We're going to games together, and then he left. And I fought the freaking ugly cry. And he kind of looked at me, and I think he liked it. Like, okay, Dad really does care that much, as he says. If he can't talk, then this is good. I'm like, bye. See ya. And I just walked in the other room.
It's the worst, man. I'd take mine to the airport, and my wife didn't go because she was home doing something. And I'm like, just that ugly cry on the way home by myself. It was like the crying game. Like, I was
How far is he from you?
About a 8-hour drive. So an hour flight.
Yeah. So the only thing that kept me going is, he's at Mizzou, and we got a little SEC basketball this weekend, Mizzou versus Ole Miss. And so we're actually going, some of our best friends, their daughter goes to Ole Miss. So they have 5 kids. I think 3 or 4 of their kids are going, and all 4 kids will be there. And we're going to spend 2 nights at Mizzou this weekend and get to see the game. So it's like, I know you're going to be gone, but hey, we'll be back in 4 or 5 days. But
wow, so, do you think the ugly cry is coming out again?
No, I hope. Well, I don't know. We'll see, but I don't think so. I'll let you know.
I'm not judging. I encourage it. Keep it rolling, bro. Okay, well, tell me a little bit about each. So we learned about your son in college, but tell me a little bit about the other boys, and then share how you and your wife met.
Yeah, so the other boys are a junior in high school. His team, the Althoff Crusaders soccer team, they just won the state championship for Illinois.
Let's go.
Pretty stinking cool.
That's fantastic.
It was a bittersweet moment to keep bringing my oldest back up. He came back home from college to go up to Chicago for it because his sophomore and junior year, they got second place. They got beat in the finals. They got second in state twice. And then his brother, they won it. And so his brother, no matter what the argument is, like, that's cool, I'm a state champ, and that ends it. So he's that. My third son is a freshman in high school. I played golf in college. He's my first golfer for the family. And so he plays golf for the high school. And then my youngest is still in that age where he's playing all sorts of sports. He's actually at volleyball practice right now. This will be his second time ever playing volleyball. So we'll see how that goes. And but he's very active: soccer, baseball, basketball, volleyball. They all dabble in golf, so it's awesome. How did I meet my wife? Well, I met my wife on spring break 1998. Was in Panama City Beach, Florida, at Harpoon Harry's. Just left, Club La Vila, Spinnakers. I'm at Harpoon Harry's. I see this, college girl on the dance floor, and I said, well, she's attractive. And so I walked up and introduced myself, and we happened to go to the same university. And now here we are, married 23 years later, dated for a couple years, 4 kids. We're at it, still at it.
So good. Harpoon Harry's. That just sounds like a made up bar, but it's a real bar.
It's great. We took our kids there when we were married. I think it was around our 21st anniversary. We happened to be within kind of 30 minutes away from it. And we drove over there. Looked a little different. The dance floor had tables on it, and we were, ate lunch where we met as a family, and they thought that was pretty cool. And
mom had more clothes on at this time.
Yes. And, yes, we'll leave it at Dad was doing. I was, being appropriate. So yeah,
I'm sure you were. Yeah,
yes.
Of course you were an upstanding citizen, doing
That's
nothing
right.
but the best, just like I was at that time
Yes.
of my life. All right. I always like now transitioning to our guests when they were a kid, and you obviously highlighted your parents' gratitude at the beginning, which I love. But take me back to what was life like growing up for you, and talk about the impact your parents had on you, and maybe some of the values that were most important.
Yeah, we moved. I won't go all the way back and bore your listeners with going back to kindergarten, but we moved away from grandma and grandpa's, aunts and uncles, cousins when I was in kindergarten. And I'm an only child, so grew up 3 or 4 hours away from family, and so my friends quickly at a young age, my friends feel like family. Obviously, I'm still close with my cousins and talk to a few of them still regularly, but we're scattered all over the country, so I don't get to see my side of the family as often as I would like. But what I've found is my friends have become my family, and my brothers, and being an only child. And so very, very good friends with lots of people, and just love people, love staying connected. And, but my parents, I always tell this story, is that when I was growing up, one, they never missed a game, right? No matter what sport I was at, they were there. They were involved. My dad never chose work or golf league or anything like that over my games. And so a little easier with one than it is with 4 to miss stuff. I miss stuff, a lot because I'm going to another kid's event while my wife's going that direction for another event, but they taught me that: be there for your family, be there for your kids. Don't choose work. Don't choose, your golf over being there. And so I think that's a big deal. They also really would kind of, I would say, add fertilizer and water to my brain to help me think and dream and believe my dreams. Because when I would come in the room, we didn't have phones and stuff back then, right? So I would get bored. You're at home, you got nobody to play with, and I'd be bored, and they'd say, well, sit down. My mom would go get a TV tray, the old TV trays you'd set in front of you, like in your chair. And my dad would grab paper and a pen or whatever, and they'd say, draw your dream house. And I'm, 11 years old, 12 years old, and I'm drawing floor plans of what my dream home was going to be. And it would have a gymnasium with like my initials at half court. It would have, whatever cool stuff you want to do as an 11, 12, 13-year-old kid. I was doing that stuff. And then I would start to think like, man, I really want to have that one day. And I don't know. And I don't know if they meant to do that, or if that was just like, hey, be quiet, kid, and go draw your dream house, because that would buy them some time. But it worked, right? And I think those are the things that now I still go to a piece of paper, and I carry my journals everywhere I go, and I dream, and I draw out not my floor plans anymore, but I've drawn out my floor plans, if you will, for my dreams and the things that I want to do.
Mm. What are mom and dad still with us?
Yes. Yeah. Dad just turned 80 on January 1st. So 80-year-old dad and 76-year-old mom. And just got to spend a lot of time with him over the holidays and celebrate Christmas and his birthday.
That's awesome. My pops would have been 83 on January 9th. He passed away in 2021. So our dads, we share that and I think I told you when I was on your show, like same thing. My dad, they didn't. My mom really good too, but my dad definitely did not miss ever anything. My mom really did too, but like at the end, maybe my senior in college, she had to miss a few here and things, but she listened to it on the radio or whatever. But those are things you don't forget.
No, heck no.
And I know that I try to give grace. Like, we're doing our best as parents. There's no manual when you leave the hospital. Everybody's doing their best, and we're recording in January right now. This episode will come out maybe in a month or so, and I have to go to Atlanta next week, and I'm going to miss one basketball game. But I get to watch it on the Facebook live stream. But and my daughter's like, Dad, it's not that big a deal. I said, yeah, it is a big deal, and I'm really sorry. And she's like, but you go to everything. I'm like, I know, I don't want to miss anything, because the time of me getting to watch you play hoop those days are going, few and far between. So I just want to embrace everyone you got. So
I would tell, not that you didn't ask this question, but I'll give this unsolicited advice about that for those parents that are in the thick of it with, nonstop practices and games. And you're like, holy crap, I can't wait for this to be done. Is I think when my oldest went to college, I coached him all growing up through baseball, coached his basketball team. And it just went like that, right? So quick. And I think what it's done is it's helped me reposition my mindset to my fourth one is I just got done coaching his basketball. We start in a couple of weeks. I coach his baseball team. And that now I look at that as, okay, he's in fifth grade. So I get him for sixth, seventh, and eighth grade, the summers after, right? I got 3 summers left of coaching this kid in baseball. Then I'm done, and I'll have a 17-year coaching career, between all my kids, but it's like, it's now it's coming to an end. And so those parents, man, that are going through the thick of it right now, just know that it does go fast. You hear it, but truly try to believe it because it goes fast, man. And once it's over, it's over.
Spot on, brother. It's so true. And it is a cliche, but it's a cliche for a reason because it's truth.
Yeah.
Tell me what mom and dad did for their job.
So my dad was a banker, and my mom was lucky enough to be able to stay home with me when I was born. She retired basically the week I was born. She was owned a hair salon and gave that up, and then helped raise me, and so that's what they did. So my dad again was very instrumental in my beliefs of business and building relationships. And I saw him, build relationships in town for the right reasons. And so I think, again, that was just kind of programmed in my brain of how I then got into finance and stayed in wealth management instead of banking and just built a business from there.
Is when you say that, like stories of building relationships, doing it the right way, tell me, is there a story that comes to mind that you can remember that you might reflect on often that maybe you share with your team or share with your boys?
Well, my dad was a handshake guy, right? Like you make a decision based on a handshake. And I think we can get away from that in the world. And I think that, paperwork and all the stuff, and obviously you got to have contracts and sign stuff. I'm not saying that, but I've always tried to say that as I remember as he was kind of winding down his career, he's been retired since '07, is that game changed and it became less about relationships and more about the almighty dollar. And for him, it was frustrating. And so that's what, for me, I mean, if I have to have a contract, clearly we have to do that and we sign clients up and all that stuff. But I would be just as fine with saying, here's a handshake. Here's my word. I'm going to do this. Let's make it happen. And I don't care about your contract.
Yeah. I'm old school like that too. The old Jerry Maguire, my word, what is it? My word is strong as oak. That line. Why do you think that's, where do you think that's gone or missing in today's culture?
Well, I think it's all about the bottom line for people, right? And it's like, okay, am I going to make more money in that? I mean, look, I had a great buddy of mine was a Division I basketball coach at the SEC level, and I've known him since we were kids, since I was probably in 4th grade. And we were talking today about the transfer portal and NIL, and there's a lot of good to it, but there is a lot of bad to it, man. And to where we could potentially see this in the next 3 or 4 years that these kids aren't even going to school, And so I just think that it's ran by decisions that aren't in the best interest of people sometimes. And that's why I think, to answer your question, that's why it's gone there, is that the best interest of people sometimes is not why we're making decisions.
I agree, man. That's funny. I've talked to people about NIL before and transfer portal and, the whole I got to have it now mindset, which that's not how we build grit. That's not how we build resilience. That's why I'm hoping that there's a dad listen to that we can maybe influence a dad through our conversation. That maybe gets back to that, it's like, yeah, maybe my son's not playing right now, but maybe why? Is it truly the coach's fault, or is there something maybe that he or she could be doing differently at home? Because 99.99% of our kids are not going pro. That's right. If they do, awesome. But, like my wife, she had a great analogy. She was like, we have like kind of 18 seasons, almost like a sports analogy. We have 18 summers or 18 seasons to kind of prepare them. We're in the minor leagues trying to get them ready for the pros. And that's why what's been so fun about this podcast journey, now year 6, which is so crazy to think about, is, trying to help really remember what the values that were important to us and not getting away from that. Like there's a line that success leaves clues, I've heard before.
Yes.
So if it's still successful back, Socrates was using curiosity. Why aren't we using this? Michelangelo was using curiosity. Why aren't we using curiosity?
Yeah.
Voltaire. Yeah. We think we got to do it some different. Now I get times change, but like, I love like your pops' old mindset and your mindset too. It's like that's how you create character in people.
Yep. Absolutely.
Um, when did you think you wanted to get into finance?
It's funny. I have a good story. I always talk about this. My cousin Dean, he's the oldest cousin on my mom's side. I'm the youngest cousin on my mom's side. We went and helped him move into a new home. He was I don't remember how old he was at the time, but he was young. And I was, like I said, 15. So he's probably in his, mid 20s, upper 20s. And he was what they call back then a stockbroker. And I always knew I wanted to be successful. And you and I share a passion. We both have the passion for golf. And I just remember my mom and dad and I, we drove about an hour and a half, went over to help him and his wife. And I don't even know if they had kids at the time. Move into their new home. And their new home was on this country club. I saw this hole in the backyard. He had a gold BMW, and we get in it, and he's got like speakers in the headrest, and he cranks up the music, and here's a 15-year-old kid. I'm like, that's what I'm going to do. And so I went to college. I majored in golf and fraternity, and knew that I knew I wanted to be successful. And when I got out, I went to a job fair and found 2 investment companies and got hired with one, worked there for 12 and a half years, and then started my own deal almost 11 years ago. But he told me, and I think she was my fiance at the time, now my wife, whatever you do, put 2 years of work into your first year. That's it. You do that, you'll be successful. So I just said, okay. I was just dumb enough to go do what he said, right? And they said, make 40 phone calls a day. I went and made 80. And just keep doing it. And again, now here we are 24 years later in a professional career and have loved every bit of it.
So it's easy to tell people that, but tell me if you can think about where did that work ethic and grind and mindset habits come from?
Well, I will tell you, I didn't have a work ethic. It was one of those things. I grew up, I played golf. I would play baseball at night and golf all day long. I was, blessed to get to do that. And, I had some jobs here and there, but I didn't learn a work ethic. Like I look back and I think I'm a better golfer today at 47 than I was in college. And I look back and think, man, if I had a work ethic back then on it, and I played a lot of golf, but I didn't work at it. We just went and played and was naturally good enough to go someplace with it. And so I think I learned it. But I will also tell you that the thing that I learned to build a work ethic was I knew I was very clear on where I wanted to go. So again, when I was making those 80 phone calls, I had in a frame of things that I wanted to accomplish in my life in the next year, the next 3 years. And I would look at that thing every single time I was making a phone call and didn't want to. And these were little things like back then, buy my wife a Coach purse, season tickets to the Cardinals. I wanted to drive a 3 Series BMW. I wanted to be able to give, $100 to a charity. These were small things, but they were big at the time when I was 22, 23 years old. And I just had them in a frame and I did it. My first year in the business, I was the financial advisor of the year in St. Louis for our company. Okay.
Wow.
Now, no work ethic, right? A little bit of arrogance comes in. The next year, they should have fired me because I basically brought in no clients. I had a terrible year. And then it's that come to Jesus moment with myself, right? Like, all right, you say you want these things, dude, but your effort and your workability is not doing it. So what's going to change? And that's actually where I created the circuit of success on a piece of paper that then, many years later ended up becoming my podcast name. But that's what I had to do. And it was a kind of a come to Jesus moment with myself of you got to learn to work. Talent takes you places, but work with talent. That's a good recipe.
Have you shared that story with your boys?
Oh yeah.
Your employees?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Love it. I knew you did.
I shared on. I mean, if anybody ever listens to me on a podcast, they're like, "All right, it's just different host, but it's the same stories, right?" Because there's only so many stories to share, and that's one of them for me. My worst year in business was my best year ever, right? Because I learned the most in that terrible, terrible time when my wife would be like, "Where's your paycheck?" And I'm like, "I don't have one," So
how? So I want to dig in on this one. So sometimes us men, we have these things called egos. Mm-hmm. That get in the way and block us from growing because we're so right. I was very lucky. One of the leaders early in my business career, he asked me a question. He goes, Casey, do you want to be right or do you want to get what you want? And I was like, well, I want both. He's like, now to ask. You got to pick one. I was like, shoot. I was like, and thank God I'm wired this way. I said, I want to get what I want. He's like, good answer. I think that's helped me have a healthy marriage of 26 years. It's helped me in business, helped me in relationship building. So it's like, but I think that took, you could have easily got defensive and your ego. I mean, as you reflect back or think like, do you think it's because you were wired that way? Or do you think, someone said something to you, or you had a mentor, or maybe your
I mean,
dad?
definitely. I mean, I watched people in the company, and I always watched successful people, and I saw a guy in my hometown that my dad was friends with that was successful, and I would just kind of watch from afar. I'd watch the guys that were successful in the firm, gals that were successful in the firm. But again, for me, I think it was clarity of what I wanted in my life. And I think without clarity, it's like if I just gave you the keys to my car and said, here, drive. Well, where the hell are you going to drive to? You don't even know where you're going, right? Just start driving. Well, where am I? I don't know. Just start driving. Well, you're going to end up somewhere, right? But when I say, hey, here's the keys to my car, go plug in this address, you know exactly where to go, right? And same thing with life. If I write down, right, in a piece of paper, write it down. Don't just think about it. Write it down on a piece of paper. And I say, here's what I want to accomplish. And here's what I want to accomplish it by in my faith, my family, my fitness, my firm, my fun, my finances. Those are my 6 F's. Now I've got a plan to where if I truly want those things, then I have to go out and work. Right. And it's kind of a simple recipe if you think of it. Now, you have to get lucky sometimes. You got to put in the work. You got to show up when you don't want to. You got to follow success. You got to look at mentors. You got to have, for me, I have faith in God. I have faith in a process, faith and trust in that stuff. And if you do those things, it's probably going to work.
Yeah, I agree. Have you shared those 6 F's with your kids?
Oh, yeah.
Do they write them down too?
They do. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Not as much as you want, right, as a kid, but they're like, all right, well, here comes dad again. He's going to talk about his F to the 6th power, right?
Why is he dropping F-bombs on us?
Right. Yeah.
Do you think this stems from your mom in the piece of paper?
Oh, possibly. Yeah. I mean, I think so. It starts with that stuff having goals. No.
Have you ever? So I always love asking questions where my guests don't know. I would love it if you shall accept homework out of this.
Yeah.
And ask mama, she might not even remember. Or maybe she's like,
no, I've talked about this with my parents before about the writing down my, dream house and all that stuff too. And it's, I don't know, man, it does make you think. And it's, I remember also going to a study group. I was in a study group of financial advisors where we would meet 3 times a year. We'd travel to different places and we'd share business ideas. And I'll never forget, a guy named Jason was the one that gave me the idea of buying this journal. And I've used the same journal since July of 2005. Obviously, I've gone through a bunch of them. But then I've got that. And then what ultimately led me to, creating my own journal. And now I've got it all in one spot. So I got a journal that's how I track my day in my quarter, my 90 days. And then I've got the journal where I dream and strategize in. And those 2 things are with me all the
time. Is it a journal you sell?
I do. Yeah. On Amazon. Yeah.
We'll make sure let's hit that. Make sure you bring that up at the end, because I want to make sure we link that in the show notes so people can go in.
Yeah.
I go through journals all day long, so I'll make sure I go support you and grab one.
Awesome. Thank you. That's not why I'm on the show. I just kind of dropped it out there.
I want to go back to those 6 F's again. Can you say those again? Finance.
Yep. Well, it starts with your faith.
Okay.
They're in that order. Faith.
Mm-hmm.
My family.
Okay.
My fitness.
Okay.
My firm. So it'd be work for other people. Mine just happens to be firm, right? Yep. So another F. And then fun. And then finances.
Love it. Love it. And when you go through that, is it like, do you have a goal of like unlimited things you're writing by each number, each letter, or is it each word, or is it just like one thing?
Well, so again, in my journal, the 90 days, it's every 90 days you get a different journal. And like in my faith, I want to read a daily devotional. I want to focus on getting to church on Sundays, because with 4 kids, you can always have a game or something, right? So if it's not then, it's Saturday at 4, whatever. So make that a priority. We're good at that. And then I want to read one religious, like Christian book this first 90 days. So if I can do my daily devotional, I'm showing up to church every weekend and I read one good book. That's a victory for me in the first 90 days in my faith, that F faith. So family relationships, it was 3 date nights with my wife, right? Just her and I, one-on-one. And that may not sound like a lot to some people. Maybe it is. I don't know. But for me, again, with busy schedules, 3 just one-on-one dates with my wife, and then one-on-one event this quarter with each of my boys. So like my oldest and I, before he went to college, we got our date in, right? And our date was to a hockey game. It was just the 2 of us. We went to the St. Louis Blues game, had a great night, right? So I got 3 more of those to do with my kids and 2 more to still do with my wife. And so we track those, right? And that's something that I look at and I track. So I'm not going to continue to bore everybody, but then I got a fitness one, my firm, my fun, my finances. There's a goal, and it could be 1, it could be 2, it could be 3 goals, but that's about it.
Is Richard Simmons sweating to the oldies on the fitness goal?
It is not. Maybe I should add that one.
I just wanted to have that visual for you to think about.
Yes.
I love this. And hopefully dads, if you're writing this down like I just did, and I always take pages of notes when I'm talking to guests, it's like, that's how we get better. And I think that's why I don't know you really at all yet, Brett, but like why I could assume you've had success in life and you continue to have success in life. 1, you stay humble, but 2, you have a plan. You hold yourself to the metrics of how you measure success. And then you look back in 90 days, like, wow, I did some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. All this stuff, I say this is my journal. This is all stuff I've learned. This has been on for probably 3 or 4 years now. So this was 21 years in the making of learning from everybody else. And I just took it all from what I've learned and then put it in one spot in a journal. So then it's easy to follow.
Well, I just finished so I don't, I have a very spiritual framework. I look at a daily devotional in the morning. Sometimes I have no idea what the heck it means, but just being competitive, the Bible app, it says like how many days in a row I look at it.
Yeah.
And so sometimes I'll go, I'm like, God, how did I forget to do it? I might have to start back over at 1, but I'm on 202 right now, 203 days or something. And I just read a book that someone else told me about. It's called 2 Chairs.
Okay.
It's written by a guy named Bob. I'm gonna blank on his name. Bob. I'll think about it in a second.
Yeah, Bob. I know who you're talking about. I read another one of his books.
Power of Who?
Yes.
Okay.
Bob.
He's in recruiting too. Like, shout out to Bobby. We're forgetting your name, but you're going to get a longer plug here.
Bob, Christian book author. Bob Goff. Is it Bob Goff?
No.
Mine was Bob Goff.
No.
Goff.
Bob. I'm going to look this up. 2 Chairs. I got to look this up. Sorry, everybody. Home. We're going to little detour here. Book. Sorry.
Bob Boudin.
Bob Boudin. Yes. So he, it's funny. I've been doing some of the things he talks about, but like he said, and it's kind of like the first time I did it, I was going through some stuff, like getting wrapped up around the axle on really things in life that aren't that big a deal. And literally what it does is kind of like when you go, like I do a gratitude journal in the morning, so I'll look at the devotional. But he said like, no, like go pretend like you're having a meeting with God, and you sit down and you like, I'm listening, like, this is the first time I did it. I'm like, this is weird. I'm like, this is, and even like sometimes people say, well, God's talking to you. I'm like, how do you know?
Right.
There's some people that swear with that. I mean, again, I'm like more of a spiritual guy than something, because I think sometimes I don't want to get too off track here, Brett, but I think sometimes religion gets a bad connotation because you get so focused on what you think you know, but I don't think anybody knows.
Right.
And, but what, and it just says you sit in a chair, you visualize God sitting across from you, and you just talk to him. And
it's powerful.
Dude, the first time I did it, I literally felt like lightning throughout my body and almost got emotional. Like I'm dropping my son off at school again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, shoot, maybe that's what God's talking to me feels like. But I was like, it was the weirdest feeling. And so now I'm like, I walk in, and I've been doing this now for a week. I'm kind of oversharing this power of vulnerability. And I'm like, what's up, God? I'm like, I visualize he's not the chair behind me, and
that's
so
cool. I like that.
Yeah, it's a great book. Shout out to Bob. And I'm hoping he's going to come on and let me interview him one day, because I've interviewed another one of his friends, guy named Bob Teedy, who's a former guest. He's a big curiosity guy too. So,
well, I'm going to 2 Chairs book on Amazon right now. Is it this red and white book?
Yep. Bob and I. Yep.
It'll be here by tomorrow, probably at 7 a.m.
There we go.
'Cause I haven't picked out my book yet. I usually got a guy in the office, Scott, that I ask, "Hey, what's my next book?" So this is gonna be my next book.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll create like a book club for dads out of this journey
I
together.
like it.
You
I
know,
love it.
it's like
That's one of
accountability.
my biggest things, man. It's 10 pages a day. Just 10 pages a day. You'll end up reading about 25 books a year. Because for me to say 25 books a year is like, that's almost impossible, it sounds like. But if I say 10 pages a day, that's easy. I can do that.
Small, exactly. Start small and then just chip away.
That's right.
Where did you learn these 6 F's?
Time. It used to be like, 3 F's, and then it was like, then I'm in finance, and it took me probably, I had F to the fifth power for about 4 or 5 years. I'm like, wait a second, your finance is kind of important, what I do for a living. And so we'll add that one. So just over time. But again, I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but I do strategic think time, and I spend an hour and a half of my week. It's usually on Wednesday afternoons from 1 to 2:30 with myself and this black dreaming big journal. It's got an F greater than P sign on it, just like you can see on my microphone here, which is future greater than your past, which is also the name of the journal. And so for me, it's just constantly spending an hour and a half with a blank sheet of paper and an ink pen. Things just, they just kind of start to roll out. And I've been doing that for, years, 10 or 15 years. I've been doing that once a week. So
How do you hold yourself accountable to that?
Nobody's perfect, so it doesn't happen every single week, but I do a pretty damn good job. If I have a meeting that I have to keep at that Wednesday time frame, then I just move it on my calendar. But for me, it's like water, man. I crave it. Like we just had a boil order, and the freezing here broke our pipes, and you don't know how much you like water when you can't drink water at home for a night. And then this morning I got it, and I'm like chugging water. That's what it's like for me with journal time. That strategic think time is so many great ideas for me, and so many ways to dig yourself out of something. Like, hey man, when you're a new, young advisor and you need more clients, and you think of strategies that help you think differently. And so for me, that's what I do.
Have you applied that strategy to like ways you want to be a better dad?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yes.
Yeah. Is there
I've
a
created
story?
little post-it notes and things I need to remember. Like, hey, don't lose your what on them and get mad. And 4 boys is freaking crazy. And so instead, and I'm not perfect at it by any stretch of the imagination, but little reminders. I use my phone. I use Siri all the time for reminders. I mean, those are the things that I try to do to try to be better every day. And again, nobody's perfect, but if you're trying to get a little bit better each day, it usually works.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's so good. That's where I believe life's superpowers rely in. I mean, the 3 I'm psychotically passionate about are humility, vulnerability, and curiosity. I think you're leading them all right there. You're curious to get better. You're humble enough to say you're not freaking no one's perfect, and you're vulnerable to share where your gaps are.
Yeah.
And one of the episodes I did was with one of my buddies, the guy that played golf a lot. Shout out to D Ballmores, Darren, my boy. We did an episode on saying you're sorry, and that was like episode 9, and we're almost going to be in episode 300 here pretty soon. But like that type of thing, I could see dads writing that down. Like, man, you were an a-hole yesterday.
Yeah.
And everybody knows it, but you and your ego's in the way. So what are you going to do about it? Yep. And are we going to let ourselves off the hook? Are we going to sit there for an hour and a half until we finally, take off our diaper, stop making all these excuses, and we say, hey, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Don't make excuses. Just own your, you know what?
Yep.
Well,
I've had to say I'm sorry plenty of times, right? I mean, just like, I'm sorry, I screwed up. I'm learning. There's no playbook for being a parent. You can't Google how to be a better dad. I mean, you can. You'll find a lot of articles, but you got to just go through it, man.
Sometimes they're written by not dads.
Right.
Single guy with 3 cats. How do you know what it's like to be a dad?
Yep.
No offense, the guy with 3 cats.
That's
no fatherhood too out there.
No offense taken.
Yeah, I mean, not to you, but the guy with 3 cats.
Yeah.
If you were to think about an area of your dad game that maybe it's not quite where you want it, that you've said, man, if I was honest with myself, this is an area of my game that I can really work on, that might maybe speak to other dads at home, that anything you feel like sharing, maybe I'll leave my witness. Mine that I've worked really, really hard on is patience.
Yeah, that would be mine. I mean, I knew as soon as you started talking, I know where it's at, again, and I blame it on being an only child. Because if I wanted to go play with that thing, especially when they were little, man, like if they, there would be a toy on the floor and one kid would go grab it. And then all of a sudden now 2 or 3 others wanted to play with it. And now there's just like, a freaking cage match going on in my family room and I would lose my crap. Right. Like what in the hell is wrong with these kids? Like, why are they fighting? Because I never had that. Right. I mean, as an only child, if you wanted to go play with that ball over there, you went and grabbed the ball and you did whatever the hell you wanted with it. And so now when I see this sibling rivalry, then they, I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And then they're good now because then they know it pisses me off. They'll be like, well, Dad, you're just an only child. You don't get it. And I'm like, then I get mad, right? And I'm like, screw everybody, like, yeah. So I would say that is try to, my patience when it's like, okay, the one time I say, let's stop, and then when they don't, then I end up getting pissed. And that's what I've worked on. It's only taken me about, 19 years and 4 months and I'm still, working on it.
Yeah.
I'll let you know when I master it.
Yeah. I'll see you in the assisted living facility. We can compare notes.
Exactly. Yeah.
How do you, so for maybe a dad out there that is an only child, that maybe this is speaking to him, what are some things you do to really kind of sharpen your sword or saw per se?
For being a better dad?
Yeah. With that, I mean, cause it's easy. That could be your excuse. And like, well, I was an only child. Nothing I can do about it. But you're choosing to do something about it. So like, what would be some things? I mean, obviously you shared the 6 F's. That's a great way, but is there any other things that you might recommend that you've seen helpful either for you or others?
Yeah. I mean, reading books, I probably read 1 to 2, which is not a lot, but I read 1 to 2 books a year on parenting that really try to help me. I've learned that when I feel the way I feel, which you talk about vulnerability. Wow, isn't this crazy that it works? Is when I share, boys, I'm getting to my limit. And literally we'll just say it like that. It's kind of like that helps diffuse the situation because they know then dad's going to get pissed. Right. And it's not like I'm throwing shit around the house, but it's just like I'm mad. Right. And you don't want to make somebody mad, but it's just like I'm annoyed. Like be quiet, stop fighting, And so, but I think working on it. And then the other thing, my wife's helped me with this. Like just leave the room for a minute. Like if you're that pissed, like just leave the room.
That's good. Isn't that funny how just like removing yourself can be all the thing? Or, one thing I work on is like just asking for help from my wife. Like if I'm like, I'm not, I can feel it. I'm this freaking Freddy Krueger's coming out. I can feel it and I can't stop it. I don't know how to stop it. She's like, go. Well,
it's amazing. The stuff that you learn as a kid, right? Your first 18 years of life, how that stays with you forever. I mean, like I just like when my dad would come home from work, it was quiet, right? It was peaceful. You get this transition from work dad to, now I'm at home dad. And it's like, I'll come home and that's usually when the chaos is going on, right? They've been cooped up at school all day long. They're hungry, right? It's like, we got to hurry up and get to practice. That's when the craziness is going on. And it's like, shit, I just want to come home to like some peace and quiet for like, just give me 5 minutes, and, it doesn't always work. And I'm painting a bad picture, right? It's not like this is all the time, but this is the stuff though that I struggle with.
But it's real. I think we'd be people who are listening or we'd be lying to ourselves. It's not like, and I've said this multiple times. I'll continue to say, because I'm saying it for myself. Like this podcast is for me. Yeah. I get therapy out of every episode.
I call it my weekly therapy.
100%. And I'm not doing this to get on Phil Donahue or Oprah. I'm not doing this to be the next Joe Rogan. I'm doing this because it's a fun project. I didn't know I'd be doing this for 6 years.
You'd take the $200 million Joe Rogan check though, wouldn't you?
I'd probably hold out for 205.
Yeah.
I mean, 100% I would, but like, I think the chance of that happening.
Let's be vulnerable, right?
I'm going to write it down in my journal.
There you go.
I will be the next Joe Rogan.
I will make $200 million from my podcast.
But I know we talked this about mine. You mentioned the law of attraction. Obviously, I'm a big visualization person. I've taught my kids that. Like, I think that's what's cool. I've seen is like my kids like have goal boards in their room. And I think when it's easy to tell our kids these things, but when you can back it up with a story, like your mom did when you were 12, or your mom and dad did when you were 12, like I have many stories of visualization when things writing things down, and like it works, everybody.
Yeah.
So if you're a dad listening, you're like, oh, you guys are full of shit. Okay. You believe you, bro. That's or right. Like check your ego and like try it and follow up with me and Brett in a month and say, oh my God, maybe it did.
Yeah. How many kids do you have again?
2.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So
2 out of
6 kids between the two of us. We probably know a thing or two.
yeah. 2 kids that I know of too. For the
Right.
record.
Right.
Joking, Carrie. I'm joking.
Yeah. Just joking, babe.
Yeah. So you work for you got into wealth management thanks to our boy Dean, cousin Dean, the BMW with the brass monkey bumping in behind your ears, and you're motivated to do it. Take me back to the day, if you can, that said, I'm going to go out and do my own thing.
Yeah.
And how did that impact you as a dad?
Well, I always struggle sharing this story because there was something big that happened in my life that was, it was a big deal. And I don't want to come across like I'm bragging, but that's why I always struggle sharing it. But it's true, and we're talking about transparency and vulnerability. And so, I did something in a company, a 150-year-old company that had never been done before, and so 150 years is a long time. And I did this thing. There was a number of people that I recruited and brought into my own firm. I owned my own office there at this firm, and I had recruited the most the company had ever seen in 150 years, all while being what's called there's a certain name for this production thing that you get to at that company. And again, those two things had never happened before. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. But yet, so here I was, my success was kind of going like this, right? Which means financially, freedom, all this stuff, right? But yet my job satisfaction was going like this. And I was going through this whole process with having some panic attacks, having anxiety, going to the Mayo Clinic and spending money to get a full physical because I just knew something was wrong with me, and it came back that it was anxiety, and it just, well, I wasn't doing well, right? But yet here I am on paper and on the outskirts looking like I was this super successful dude. And I went to this meeting that you qualify for, and I would go around, and I was basically doing like a podcast before podcasts were going on. And I was like, hey, what makes you happy? What keeps you here? And I couldn't get a good answer. And at that moment, I knew on a flight home from Arizona that I was done. And took the rest of the holidays and kind of just thought about it, and then made a call to my business partner, now Tim Hammond, on January 2nd of 2014. And said, hey, what keeps you here? Because he was at the same firm, and thinking he'd try to help me there. And 82 days later, we started a firm, and now almost 11 years later, here we are.
Wow. That's awesome. Well, that speaks to me on many levels. We have more in common now. I didn't do something that was 150 years, but I did something about half that.
Yeah.
And I think we aren't bragging, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
And you should be proud of it. I'm proud of it. But when you left, what was there, like fear, or was there just this inner belief, like I'm going to make it happen?
Well, there was both. I mean, it was my wife was 8 months pregnant the day I resigned and started my new firm. My wife was 8 months pregnant with our 4th child. We had just built our dream home, and here I was, I remember a month before I left, my wife saying, is this the right time? I said, no, it's a freaking terrible time. I said, but we're going to do it. And she's like, let's go. And, supported the hell out of it. And I wouldn't be where I'm at without that support. And we did it, and resigned on a Monday. Her dad had a stroke the Friday before. So now my wife's dealing with her dad. So he had a stroke Friday. I resigned Monday. Friday, my dad had a heart attack, coded on the table. They zapped him back. So this is all going on in the week, all along with, I know I'm getting ready to have my 4th child.
That's not good for anxiety.
Start a company. And I worked in my town. I owned the building that we were in. It had to go perfect. Thankfully it did. And, but it was freaking scary as hell. But then also It was like, burn the bridges, man. We're going to make this. We're not going to fail. We're going to make it happen. And we did, but it was a lot of work, man. A lot of work.
I'm sorry for interrupting you, but I said those things probably not good for your anxiety.
No, they were brutal.
Jesus.
But when I made the decision, and I had spent now a year studying and learning what anxiety was, to where I could learn to make it my friend. It certainly was not under control. But knowing I made that switch, how big of a release that was of now I'm working for our own brand and doing the things that we want to do with our clients. And it was like this overwhelming sense of relief that came over me. And then again, now working on it, now here we are again, 11 years later, my anxiety will still pop up here and there. But I know how to deal with it.
Did you have like a voice in your head that kept chipping at you?
Oh yeah. I call him your roommate. And that, this roommate over here, he's a dick. And then this guy, he's really awesome. And
he's in better shape too.
He's in way better shape. He's better looking, just all sorts of stuff. But
that guy's got chest
you
hair.
have that. And again, I used to kind of start to believe it a little bit, but now I've learned again, when it starts to come in, I and this guy over here, we talk major trash to this dude over here. Like I love talking trash at golf or in the basketball court or whatever. And now I do it in business to myself.
Love it. Self-talk is so important too. I do it. My kids make fun of me. My wife makes fun of me. Like, I've been doing self-talk my whole life.
Yeah.
I'm
like, dude, I know what you're doing right now. It's not going to work.
Yeah. Suck it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so good. That speaks to me, man, on a lot of levels. And I appreciate you sharing, because I know there's someone that's listening that might be going through the same thing. I think a lot of this stuff is fixable through, it's easy to want to take drugs. And I think sometimes chemicals, people need to do that. I get that. But I think sometimes just talking about it and being vulnerable.
100%. I've never taken medicine for it, man. And and I'm proud of that. It's because and again, there are people that have to have it. They have it way, way worse than I ever had it. And I'm not saying that that's wrong for me, it was a great decision. Is I was able to not put the Band-Aid on it for me. I was able to fix it and get to that deep level of here's what I need to be doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My pops, rest in peace. He struggled with anxiety and depression, but he did not exercise. And I think for me, I'm not like on Playgirl and not going to be like, fireman of the month, but like I want to keep myself in good shape. And, and when I don't exercise and I take usually 2 rest days, one to 2 rest days a week. When I don't, if I ever get off track, like if I'm traveling next week, like I still make sure I do something.
Yeah.
Because once I get off that habit, and then if I'm not getting those demons out, not demons, I'm not getting those like endorphins out, I'm not the best version of me. And I think like it's easy to tell yourself the excuse, well, you're trial, you're in this. True. But even if you did 30 push-ups in the hotel room,
right,
better than nothing.
Action begets action.
One question I was going to ask, you mentioned in the very beginning, you and your wife are working on a business. Is that something we can share? Is secret mode, or do you want to talk about it or not?
It's not secret mode. We're building over here. It's a members only experience, and it's a speakeasy. And so where I'm sitting right now, I've got my we have 9 office locations around the country, but the one I'm in is right over here. We're in a building, a building that we built in 2016, and then we got the podcast studio, and then we get this members only experience over here. So one of the things that we'll do is, and this helps us help our clients achieve a future greater than their past. And that's why this whole thing works together. And so we'll create that, and we'll create these experiences, like whether it's professional athletes or big time business leaders, they'll come in, do a podcast. We'll walk across the hall, go to the speakeasy, kind of have a Q&A forum type deal with them. And now these business leaders are, surrounded by people that they may not get to interact with every single day because it's, they came on the podcast or something. So that's what we want to do, is create these experiences that are unforgettable for people and help them achieve a future greater than your past. And do that through our wealth management firm, through our podcast, and then through what's called Beyond, which is go beyond your own self-limiting beliefs, right? Go beyond your own expectations, go beyond what you think is possible. And we always say, live the beyond, man, and do that. So it's fun because my wife, when we built this building, she did a lot of the design work, and then all of a sudden it turned into her friend saying, hey, can you help me with our family room? And can you help me with this? And then it turned into a business for her and a passion. She didn't go to school for that. She got her master's in speech pathology, and now she runs an interior design firm with her friend, and they do jobs all over town. And she's doing this one, and she's doing a great job. And I can hear the tape measure, running around right now doing stuff. She's laying out furniture and taping it down and all that stuff. So it's been awesome, man. Thanks for asking.
Is she more handy than you?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I can change a
Yes.
light bulb. I'm pretty good at changing light bulbs.
Yes. Welcome to the team. But we cry and we suck at fixing things. Welcome
Yeah.
aboard.
Yeah. I mean,
I
I'm
can.
even the guy, like I'll hold the picture up but she's the one that will hang the picture. Like she'll physically, do it.
Yeah.
I'm not embarrassed to say it. It's
No,
fine.
me
We all
neither.
got our strengths and weaknesses. I know what lane I play in.
Yeah. How fast? I always tell my buddies who can fix stuff, how many words can you type per minute?
Right. Exactly.
How many people can you speak in front of without crap in your
Exactly
pants?
right.
Yeah, that's my game, bro.
That's my game.
If people want to learn about visionary wealth management or advisors, they want to find. Apologize for that. If you want to learn about visionary wealth advisors, they want to learn more about Brett, the leader, the person, the podcast. Tell me, what's the best way I can help people find you and your company?
Yeah, visionarywealthadvisors.com is our website. Circuitofsuccess.com is our podcast. I actually have brettgilliland.com is where you go there and you'll find Visionary. You'll find our podcast. You'll find our charity my wife and I started in 2007 for cancer called Swing for Hope, FORE. Things that you scream when you're golfing. I don't, but you do. And so it's called swingforhope.org is the website. And we do a golf event. We do a Rock for Hope event with bands. We like to have fun. And so that's our charity. We help the local hospital here in town, and we help local families here in town. So all that stuff is there. And then Beyond, I don't think it's added there yet, but we got Beyond, and we got Beyond Media Group. We're helping individuals start their own podcast through a media company I started. And so we're helping them with all the stuff that I've learned and failed at over the last 415 episodes. If they want to do it to get better, we either teach them or we'll do it for them.
So cool. Can we learn more about Swing for Hope real quick if people want to learn ways to donate or give to that?
Yeah. Yeah. So my wife's mom, grandma, and two of her aunts were all diagnosed with breast cancer in about a 6 or 7 month period. And back in 2003, one of the aunts unfortunately did not make it. My mother-in-law is an absolute beast, and she's been kicking its ass since 2003. Obviously, some days are better than others, but she's literally been, fighting it for a long, long time. And you would never know it, man. She's got a great personality and a great attitude. But that it keeps it going, right? Keeps it going for us. The passion behind it. We started our charity in 2007, and 6 weeks later, my dad was diagnosed with cancer. Fast forward a year later, her dad was diagnosed with cancer. My mom's had some stuff in the last year that she was dealing with in the stomach. And so it's just, then friends and family, aunts, uncles, just somebody, every time I speak in public about it, I'll say, raise your hand or stand up if you've been impacted by cancer. And the entire room stands up. Right. And so we're just trying to do our part, man, in our communities. And I always say, if you make a living from a community, you better give back to that community. And that's what we try to do, is give back for that.
Love it, man. That's so cool. I'll make sure that swingforhope.org, you said?
Yes.
Is in the show notes as well. People, if you're, and is this just in St. Louis or is this nationwide?
Yeah, well, it's mostly in St. Louis, but we're, again, cancer's everywhere, right? So we do what we can to help anybody, but we try to, because all the money comes in from local stuff, and so we try to help the local community from the money that we raise.
So cool. That's awesome. You guys are doing that. And then before we get into the lightning round, should I go random on you and we let you out of here? If you were to summarize kind of everything we've talked about as dads today, that if we could put them into like themes that dads or moms or grandpas or anybody who's listening can say, man, I learned these 2 or 3 things that were really, really spot on. And I needed that time in my life to hear these things. I'm glad I tuned in to listen to Casey and Brett. Tell me, what would be some 2 or 3 actionable things that dads can take from our episode today?
Well, there's a lot that I would say, but I would sum it up this way. And I say it to my kids every night before we go to bed: is dream big, believe big, and give big. And if we dream big and we write it down and we dream it and we write it down and we dream it and we keep writing it down. I write my goals down every single day. My 90-day goals, I write them down every day. So if I write my goals down every day and you don't even look at them or write them down, who's got a better chance of winning? Right? The person that writes them down. So dream big, believe big, because once you dream it, now I've got to believe it. Because if you don't believe it, you'll never take action on it.
Yeah.
And then once I believe it, then I also have to give big, right? Give to your team, give to your employees, give to your community, give to your family, right? All the things you got to do, give and give big.
Gold, brother. Hence the belief sign behind me. But I'm gonna steal that and give you a shout out. But that is a new way. I'm gonna say goodnight to my kids every night. So thanks.
Dude, it's funny. I made a video about this about 3 months ago. I walked out of my 10-year-old's room, Probably had something in my mind. I didn't say it. And I hear from the room, I'm the most shocked person in the house right now. He's 10. And I'm like, so it caught my curiosity, right? I'm like, I go back in, I put my head, I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, Dad, you didn't say dream big, believe big, and give big. And I'm the most shocked person in the house that you didn't say it. And I'm like, whew. I'm like, dude, that's amazing. And like how we speak to ourselves matters. And then we started talking about it. And he goes, are you going to make a video on that?
Let's go. Accountability.
So I made a short little video for social media on my son calling me out. But it's like, what, not only do how we talk to ourselves, right? What we talked about earlier, those guys on our shoulders, how we talk to ourselves, but how do we talk to other people? Our kids being one of them, right? So do you think they believe big? You're damn right? Are they dreaming big? Are they giving big? Let's hope.
Where is that video?
It's on social media, on Instagram or on YouTube. I'll find it on Instagram and
send it to me. Please do. Please do. Awesome, man. I've taken a ton of notes. It's now time, Brett, to go into the lightning round. We'll make sure that you are linked in all these things, by the way. But this is where I show you the negative hits of taking too many hits in college, not bong hits, but football hits. Your job is to answer these questions hopefully as quickly as you can.
Okay.
My job is to get a giggle out of you.
I like this.
Okay. True or false? In doing my research, you loved playing orange top flights.
False.
Okay. True or false? Your favorite movie was Beaches.
False.
True or false? Your buddies at your club call you Judge Smales.
False.
Okay. I almost laughed. I'm giggling at my own joke. No, you're okay. That doesn't count. If I came to your house for dinner tonight, tell me what we'd have for dinner.
Am I cooking or is my wife cooking?
Whoever.
If I'm cooking, you're going to have a frozen pizza or tacos.
Yummy.
If my wife is cooking, we're going to have like barbecue chicken, mashed potatoes, broccoli, and a salad.
I'm full. Your wife is cooking. Okay. She's going to cook.
My kids love her mashed potatoes.
That sounds really good. I'll have to do a really big workout the next day.
That's right.
If you were to go on vacation right now, no kids, tell me where you and your wife are going.
We are going to, because we've never been up there, we're going to go to the Grand Tetons in Jackson Hole. But we're actually going to do that this summer with the kids, but that's where we would go.
Okay. Sounds fun. Tell me your favorite comedy movie ever.
Christmas Vacation or, Christmas Vacation.
Okay. The most impactful book you've ever read is?
The Rhythm of Life by Matthew Kelly.
Okay. If there was to be a book written about your life, tell me the title.
Have Faith.
Okay. Now, Brett, believe it or not, Have Faith. I was going to the Atlanta airport on the way home and I was looking for the book, Have Faith, sold out. I came home to Seattle, tried to get the book, sold out. Went to Amazon, sold out. The book is crushing it. Everybody wants to read it. So now Netflix has found out about they're going to make a movie. They've said that you're going to be the casting director. So I need to know who's going to star Brett Gilliland in this critically acclaimed hit new movie on Netflix.
I get told all the time I look like Aaron Rodgers, but he's a football player. So I would call, what's the guy that did Good News during COVID? His Kaczynski.
Oh, from The Office?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That guy.
He's good. I like him.
He is good. I like him.
Okay. And then last and most important question. Tell me 2 words that would describe your wife.
Ooh, just 2 words. Heart and passion.
Boom. Lightning round's over. I encourage the giggle out of you, so we'll call that. We'll throw a flag for legal jokes.
That's good. I was thinking. I'm like, damn, I don't know where he's going here. We'll see. I'm like, they're all false so far, so maybe we'll get one true.
Oh boy. Actually, last question. I lied. Tell me your dream foursome.
Oh. Living or dead?
Don't matter. You choose.
Jesus. I'd like to play golf with my dad one more time. And trying to decide between Tiger, Tom, and Michael Jordan or Michael Phelps. Michael Jordan.
There we go. You're going to probably
get some good gambling going on right there.
I was going to say, you better bring cash and a lot of cigars.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. It's a great question. I might steal that question.
Do it. Hey, every good idea is stolen from someone else.
That's right.
Probably started with Jesus. So
that's right.
This has been a blast, man. I'm so grateful our paths have crossed. Thank you, Nick at Book Thinkers, for connecting us today. I've learned a ton. I have a page full of notes. Hopefully you guys do as well. If you found this episode impactful, do us a favor, leave us a review wherever you consume your podcast, or even better yet, go to that little 3 dots and wherever you listen to your podcast and hit share link and just share with a friend. Let's try to impact other dads to become better leaders at their home. Lean into these superpowers that I'm passionate about, and I think Brett is too, about being more vulnerable, being more humble, and being more curious. Let's adopt these 6 F's. And then lastly, let's dream big, believe big, and give big, everybody. Thanks again, Brett, for spending time with me today. It's been an honor. Learn more about you. Best luck in the future.
Really appreciate the time.